Hi, welcome back to CarsAddiction.com. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ryan and we share car-related content every Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday is a short snippet of any car encounter I come across, and Sunday is a full-fledged video of a car I own, a project I'm doing, or anything car-related. Now, this week we're all about the Toyota Celica, to be exact, the first generation Toyota Celica. Now, these been produced from 1971 to 1977. And was the first sports car Toyota to be mass produced and shipped globally by Toyota. So it was a very big deal for them and it was a great success. Now, throughout this overview, I'm going to go into the details of what options there were, what trim levels, what to look out for when you're buying, so that you are well educated on which actually type of Celica you should go for. So if you're seeing this video, you know you exactly want this model, but maybe you're not sure what engine you should go for or what year you should do. I won't be going into such things as rust and engine issues. They all have their own things. These cars are over 50 years old now. So let's start with the body. So we actually have two different styles of coupes, the pre-facelift and the facelift. Now the pre-facelift, which is this one, has the slanted nose, what you see over here, the bonnet flutes on the hood, and the hood is actually flat. Now the facelift model will actually have a bulge over here, no flutes, and this part over here will be actually vertical, and by that it makes the bonnet sort of longer. And in fact, the facelift one is sometimes referred to as the long nose, and this is the short nose. Obviously, the pre-facelift has the well sought after smileys bumpers. As you can see, they're nice chrome and very recessed in. Now this is a Japanese model, so might be different in different markets. Okay, now between pre-facelift and facelift, there's not so much difference in the rear quarter panel onwards. It's share the same taillights, hood, and trims. What might be different though is the early models, the 1971 and 72 models. What happened during those years is that they actually fitted the gas tank right instead of the spare wheel. So let me just demonstrate. So at the moment our car is not the first edition one, so the fuel tank is in the usual location. In fact, the fuel cap is right over here. But the early ones, the first 2 years of productions, you see that part missing because the fuel tank is not there. It's actually where the spare wheel is. And then the spare wheel will actually be placed right in this corner over here. Now they actually fill up that fuel tank. They actually made this cover over here flippable downwards, which is actually cool. But obviously for safety reasons, it doesn't make sense to have a fuel tank right after the bumper, where you can actually, maybe erupt in a collision or so. So that is a difference between models. There obviously was the facelift model, which had the liftback as well option. It wasn't available for the pre-facelift, so what the liftback option did was have a different roof line, and the boat over here was a complete tailgate, and the rear of the car mimics really of the Mustang. In fact, they call them sometimes the mini Mustangs. So these are the actually original wheels, 13-inch. There are, I think, about 5 different kinds of wheels. There's 2 different kinds of steelies. There's this one, the third one. There's a 4th, very rare. And there's another 5th one, which is the ST hubcaps, which are original to the Toyota Celica. Now, the types of mirrors vary different from market to market, depending on the regulations. In Japan, they're always on the fenders like this. These are not the original ones, I think. The original ones will be sort of circular and are made of plastic. In other markets, they put generic mirrors, which are mounted over here, whatnot. What's important about buying a Toyota Celica of this age is that chassis plate right over there. If you can see on the top, just zoom in, You have TA20. So those 4 digits actually depict what kind of car you have. T is the sort of what engine you have in the car. So we have the T model engine. There was the T or the R. R was available on the facelift models. A is the sort of refers to Celica, so they're all going to be A's. So T is the engine, A is the body, which is Celica. If you had gone for a Corolla or Land Cruiser back then, that letter would have been different. Then 20 in this case would actually refer to the sort of whole package. So a 20 will be a 1.4 liter Celica, a 22 will be a 1.6 liter Celica, a 28 will be a 1.6 Liftback, and so forth. I'll provide all the list of the model variations in the description below. Now, other things that we have is the trim levels, what is available inside, and extras around the car. So that's that digits up there. After the second line TA20, there is the specific VIN of this vehicle, which is very unique. 630 is the color. This one is in olive green. ZD21 is the, I'm guessing, the transmission or something like of that sort, or maybe frame. And A41 is the plant where this car was built. Now this is a Japanese car, and if we deduct, yes, this has the T engine, this is a 1.4, the color code is 630, so this means that it is an all-matching vehicle. And I cannot emphasize how important it is to decode that plate. Again, link in the description below for all the details on how to do it. Obviously, the number found in the plate has to match those VIN number that is embossed on the bulkhead. Okay, these cars, now while we're here, I'd like to note that these cars actually came with factory air condition. So there's a piping over here, and this one was equipped with it because this is an ST model. And there is the factory air condition hooked up. That is, believe it or not, factory. And the way it works, obviously, is you pull this towards you and that inwards. There's also a controller right over there. While we're in the interior, it is quite a nice place to be. You got Celica badging right over here. You got the badge right over here as well on the steering wheel. If we go behind the seats, more Celica badging embodied into the seats. It's quite a nice place. Back seats are actually spacious for what it is compared to new cars. I'm in the back seat, so let's show you. So I do fit normally. I'm gonna hit, but it's quite fitting. Another nice thing is the rear passenger also has rear seat belts. It's quite nice, and the rear window does go down and up, which is quite nice. So you have this quite big opening. Now, obviously, this is an ST model, so that's going to be an extra. You're gonna have the ref counter, that's an extra. I'm guessing radio as well. The Toyota Celica of these times were full of extras. You can get an LT and have it spec'd as an ST, or an ST spec'd as in the GT. Just depends on how well you spec the car. So this for an ST is well spec'd because, as you can see, it has like a full interior. Even the seats are quite nice. I am guessing this is a rare option with red stitching. So the model badging is not so important. Well, it's going to be over here in the rear, ST badge, but throughout the years it's not that really important, because as long as you have a good body that's not rusted and a good running engine, I wouldn't worry about the trim levels. You can also buy the parts after on eBay or through forums and sort of buy a good LT body and spec it as a GT. No one's going to be the sort of judge on you. But obviously, if you're looking for something as a good investment, you should always make sure that the VIN plate matches everything. Obviously, if you're going to be speccing it as a GT model and an LT, your investment is not going to go well as an original GT. So that's it. One thing I actually want to mention is, so this car is always referred to as the TA22, just because that is the most common one around the world. And the TA22 is always known as the coupe body with the short nose, the one with the slanted side indicators over there. But there is actually a really rare run of between the facelift and pre-facelift, which has the sort of upward long nose bonnet, and is always referred to as a TA22. That is not a mistake. That is like a between pre-facelift and facelift. What they've done is gave it a facelift body but kept the old engine, because maybe they weren't ready for the R or just had a lot of surplus of engines and just wanted to go forth with the leftover, sort of to speak. These wheels are very hard to find in good condition. I'm lucky to have them. They're complete with the chrome ring, center cap, and colored center. Something to note is this line, this face over here. That should be there actually. It protects the body from rock chips and all that. We've got the badging and italics. One thing I like to mention as well is between the pre-facelift and facelift, I think they changed the font as well as the ST. It's more aggressive in the newer models. And also with the early ones, the 71, 72, when I mentioned that the fuel tank was in the back, you also notice that one because it's has a sort of flat red rear light, which is very unique to those 2 years. So if you're really looking to the most epic Celica, you actually want an early model with the fuel tank in the back and the flat red lights. Or you might want to go for one that's complete or a liftback. Again, I cannot specify enough. You should look one that is rust free and giving no problems at all. Because these prices of spare parts are really hard to get and find in good condition. So you want to sort of avoid yourself as a hassle, maybe pay the extra premium just to find something more complete. Now these cars have a lot of extras aftermarket. They used to be rallied, so you can imagine what heritage they have. I know there's the full face cover, which is quite nice. You have the chin spoiler, which you can actually modify. We could actually fit much more wider wheels. As you can see, the factory ones really are narrow. I quite like these because the car is not with power steering, so this will help a lot. But if you fit wider wheels, they will fit nicely flush with the body. And finally, last modification that does not go sort of unchanged with these cars is the engine. You usually see them fitted with the Lexus IS200 engines or anything like that. They just swap them in. These are old cars. It's easy to fabricate something. There's not so much electronics, so it's really easy to work on them. So that's a wrap up. It's about 38 degrees Celsius here in Malta. It's getting hot. This is my personal Celica. I've owned it for 3 years. Unfortunately, I just sold it to a nice chap in Ireland. I hope he enjoys it as much as I did. Unfortunately, I had to sell this and another 2 cars to get one epic car. To know what that epic car is, and if you are a car addict like me, make sure you subscribe to the channel and be the first ones to see that car when I release the video. So make sure you hit that notification bell button below. Thank you for watching and take care.